Greetings, everyone. This is Richard Solomon, Taking Care of Business. We have an absolutely powerful show today. We are with board-certified holistic nurse Linda Appelbaum Schneider, and we are really lucky to have her because she's going to share a lot of great personal information. She has experience both in Eastern and Western medicine, wrote a book on it, has a medical practice dedicated to it. So, Linda, welcome to the show, and thank you for spending some time with us today.
Thank you, Rich. I'm so happy to be back to your show.
A friend of the show. So let's get right into it. Tell me about your experiences both with Eastern medicine, Western medicine, and the integration of both.
Oh, it started way back in 1982. I was working in New York City at Columbia Presbyterian. It was called Babies Hospital back then. It's now called Morgan Stanley Hospital. And I became a Western professional registered nurse. And I say Western because we live in the Western world. That's why it's called Western medicine, Western hemisphere. And back then, I was all about treating illness and treating the body. Paradoxically, there is a Eastern world, Eastern hemisphere, that 5,000 years old had modalities that I started to come across even back then. My mother practiced yoga, and that was my first real experience of looking at the body a little bit different. Then as time went on, I embraced working in New York City, different seminars. I did at one point study under Deepak Chopra and Dr. David Simon when they first started the Chopra Center in New York City. And I was curious. I was very curious about what balance was about. I heard the word balance a lot. So through the years, I developed this vision without realizing it by practicing Western medicine and working at Columbia Presbyterian, the Beth Israel Medical Center, and meanwhile embracing this idea of balance. Eastern modalities, or Eastern medicine, modalities is more the tools that come out of this 5,000-year-old philosophy from this Eastern hemisphere, this part of the world, that I started to integrate it in my mind without realizing it.
Okay, and for just give it some examples of the kinds of things that you're beginning to bring into your medical practice.
I worked at some point in critical care. And in critical care, I came across an individual that, 16-year-old, I talk about him in my book and refer to him as Mo. And as I was taking care of Mo physically, I realized that there was this mind-body-spirit connection with him. And instead of just performing a task of checking his vascular flow by use of a machine called a Doppler, it's a simple machine that I would put on his foot, I realized that there was more to what I was doing with the touch. And I placed down the Doppler, and I started to what then I called massage, but now I know to call it reflexology, and I'll talk a little bit more about that after I finish this story, is that I placed down the Doppler, started to massage his foot, and noticed a relaxation in his face. Now, for your listeners, Mo, and those who have not read my book yet, Mo was in a coma. He was a young man, 16 years old, that went swimming with his friends and went underneath the water. 45 minutes later, they were searching for him. They did find him, and because of the coldness in the water, he was still breathing miraculously. And when I met Mo, it was in the critical care setting. So as I'm massaging his foot and I noticed this relaxation in his face, I knew it was not a reflex. Many times when somebody's in a coma and they have some type of movement, they would say that it's a reflex. Well, this certainly was not. So now with the knowledge that I've been accumulating with Eastern medicine, I started to dive into what exactly this is. Reflexology, now I'll talk to that. Reflexology actually is a Eastern modality or tool or technique where some practitioner can touch different areas on the bottom of a foot or in your hand or in your ear that connects to your organs through different types of channels. There is something that we talk about in Eastern medicine. It's called unseen energy. And unseen energy is as real as the cells that we look under a microscope and see. Using reflexology and other tools, and one could even do this for themselves, you can stimulate this unseen energy to help the physical cells that we all know in our body. And this is, again, the premise of using both Eastern and Western medicine for the end result of increasing your health and well-being.
Now, are these the same kind of points that the acupuncturists touch upon?
Exactly. So instead of using, let's say, needles, even though they're thin and they don't hurt, like I wouldn't say they're painful. I wouldn't even say they're uncomfortable. I did try it once, just so when I speak to this, I know what I'm talking about. That is areas that you could actually touch yourself and stimulate this unseen energy in your body.
And so is there a difference between acupuncture, acupressure, and reflexology?
Yes. So acupressure is where you could touch an area with, let's say, your thumb and your forefinger and just squeeze and let go. And what that does is, in a physiological way, it brings blood to the area while you do that. And that brings nourishment and oxygen. So one could understand how that could help. What's also going on when you do the acupressure, not even acupuncture, because acupuncture uses those very fine, thin needles, that by acupressure, just pressing on certain areas is stimulating, not just physiologically to get the blood there, but it's also stimulating what is called in Eastern medicine meridians or ley lines. And there's actual currents that run through your body. And if you picture lines going, like let's say you put a line up the middle of your body, and then take about an inch going out to your right, and put another line up and down, and keep on doing that on your right side. Then on your left side, do the same thing. So you're picturing sort of like a grid.
So it's like an electric grid, like sort of like
yes,
the local
exactly.
power company in a city.
Exactly.
Okay.
So you're, again, unseen energy, so you're not really seeing this, but that's a good correlation. So as you're picturing this, if you touch different areas, you're stimulating this whole current, this whole ley line, this whole meridian going up and down where your different organs are. So the blood now is getting to these areas, and the benefit of that is that it decreases inflammation, which is what you want. There's also this language that they say the body is hot, so you want to cool down the body. You want to cool down the inflammation. Now, the reflexology, like acupuncture acupuncture, acupressure. It's all the same theory. It's to cool down the body wherever that spot is hot. So with reflexology, utilizing your hands and your feet, usually that's what you hear, hand reflexology, foot reflexology, it's stimulating these ley lines, it's stimulating the meridians, working up your body. So if you're still visualizing that grid, that energy grid, you could touch a spot in your foot that correlates to that ley line, and in doing that, you're stimulating organs inside, and you're stimulating these unseen energy. Now, they used to think that, cells, you look under a microscope and you see a cell, and there's space. Now there's actually equipment that measures that space and now is starting to see that unseen energy. And it's fascinating. It's just amazing what now technology is coming out with to understand disease. So where back in the day, like when I said I worked at Columbia Presbyterian, it was all about illness. Well, now it's about wellness. Now the whole healthcare shift is towards looking at wellness. How are we going to be well? And it's my belief that by integrating the Eastern and Western modalities, that's when we're talking about wellness. And then there's also other modalities out there, tools that, ancient tools, utilizing nature. If you just think about nature for a little while, pharmaceuticals, people know, come from nature, come from plants. Well, there's ways to take this type of plant and these type of herbs and really utilize it for health. And I could explain that more. I don't want to get off on a tangent. I want to stay with your question. So what we could do with acupuncture and acupressure and reflexology, we're not going to do acupuncture on ourselves, but we can do acupressure. We can, on our hand, massage our hand, just by massaging our hand.
Now, you said that a lot of the goal was to reduce inflammation and heat. Now, I assume even if it's 5 degrees below zero, this is more about internal heat as opposed to just feeling hot?
Yes. People now, and I'm included, with the snow and the cold, you really want to be hot, but I'm not talking about that. I am talking about inflammation.
Because I know, like in certain cultures, like in the Russian culture, I think they have these things where they do like ice plunges or things like that. Is that designed to cool you down, or that just is something completely different?
That's something different. That constricts your blood vessel. Cold constricts, so that gets blood into your organs. So there's some thinking of that from the Russians, and I guess the way that they view that. That's not what I've been taught from different seminars and lecture, and as a board-certified holistic nurse, what I've been taught is that when the body has inflammation, that could lead to disease. So what you would like to do is to get the body back into a balance. From a Western point of view, we do talk about alkaline and acidic balance. From an Eastern perspective, we talk about balance with mind, body, spirit, environment. So you also want to look at your environment, what's around you, what's in your house. Are you keeping your cell phone in your pocket? Don't keep your cell phone in your pocket. It's proven that a cell phone in the pocket that is going to impede on any spot that touches it. And I'll tell you, I know this is a radio show, but I know you're an attorney, and I'll tell you something interesting. In your phone, everybody has these iPhones now. I went to a seminar that they just spoke to this. There's actually a spot when you go into your iPhone that you go into your settings, then you go into About, and then you go into another area called Legal, And in that area, in the fine print, it actually says that you should not keep your phone 5 inches to your body.
Well,
So
we got to take a break, and part of the break is to move my cell phone away from me right now, and then we will take a quick break for station ID and other things, and we'll be right back with Linda Appelbaum Schneider, holistic board-certified nurse. We'll be right back. Keep it right here.
What I really need.
All right, welcome back. Richard Solomon with my special guest, Linda Appelbaum Schneider, who's a board-certified holistic nurse. You don't actually see a lot of those out there. I'm sure that in the future you will, but right now this is sort of cutting edge, and this is cool. She is the author of a book called East Meets West, A Contrast in Medicine, and she has a website, eastmeetswestbook.com, and I think you should check it out. If you'd like to contact her, she's been kind enough to share her email with us, which is Linda, Linda, 892@yahoo.com. And of course, if you'd like to ever call us at the station to follow up, 516-299-2683 during business hours, and we're always happy to take your messages. We've gotten great suggestions on guests and things, to add to the show. So for all of the people out there who participate and add to the show and send in comments, letters, faxes, emails, we haven't really gotten telegrams anymore. Thank you for all of that. So, Linda, you were saying before the break something very important, which is cell phones near the body are not good. Why is that? And especially because I tend to carry a cell phone in my pocket pretty much every single day of the business week.
Yes, so as a board-certified holistic nurse, what we are concerned about is not just our body, not just our mind, very important how we think, and that we should think positively, so we'll talk about that a little bit. But mind, body, spirit, we care about environment, and our immediate environment affects our body.
So let's break this down. The coffee in the styrofoam cup, the water in the plastic bottle, and the cell phone in your pocket or on some kind of waist, your waist belt. I assume all of those things are probably not the best for you.
Yes,
Okay.
And there's simple answers. Take that cell phone. If you're keeping it in your front pocket, put it in your back pocket. You don't want it by your gonads. You don't want it where sperm count's going to be decreased. That's proven. Put it in your back pocket.
And what about being your shirt pocket near your heart? Is that bad for your heart or your lungs?
Yes, I would not say to do that.
Okay.
Put it in your back pocket if you must. Again, try not to sleep with it by your bed. Keep it away from you. Keep it on the other side of your room.
What is the recommended safe distance? You said 5 inches, but what do you really like? Where do you really want it? About an arm's length away?
I would say keep it on the other side of your room. If you are sleeping and it's on your side table, put it across the room, maybe on your dresser.
All right. And what about actually when you use it? Is it at some point is that not considered to be? A lot of us put it next to our heads and we make calls all day long.
Right.
What's that all about?
Right. So it is again. There's research out there that it does affect you physically, that there is waves that will penetrate your body. Again, if you could do hands-free, and a bonus is you won't get a ticket from a police officer, use hands-free.
Right, but I'm talking about just walking in the street.
Walking in the street, if you must use it, try to limit the amount of time, I would say, that you do use it. If you're the type of person that must use it, there is those earpieces that you could attach to your phone and talk through that earpiece, the cord. It has a little device on the actual cord. You're better off doing that. That would be my suggestion. Instead of holding the phone to your head. You don't want to put it by your brain. You don't want to put it by your heart. You don't want to put it by your ovaries. You want it away from your body as much as possible. If you have to put it in your back pocket because you need it accessible, you need it to vibrate, then just make sure that you don't lose your phone. They're a lot of money.
Yeah.
So I make a disclaimer if anybody loses their phone. But it is. I'm making a joke, but at the same time, it is really serious, Rich. It's something that we could intellectually understand. That this is a computer now, and in computers you have a lot of I want to say radiation, but it's not my field. I don't know if that's exactly what's coming off, but I would say it is some type of wave that does come off, and it does go into your body.
Well, I remember as children, our parents said, don't sit so close to the TV. And yet all we do for a living now is sit in front of TVs, even if they're called computers. And I wonder if that wisdom, of not being in front of the TV is very valid. And are there antidotes or something that counteracts all the things that...
I'm glad you brought that up. Yes, there is. Well, I do want to say, as far as computers, I just want to add, if you're using a laptop, I would recommend to use a barrier. They do sell those boards that you could put between your lap and your computer, so please do that. That is something simple and not that much money that I would suggest. There is, for your computer, if you sit by a computer, there's something called a Himalaya salt lamp. And that is shown to have an ionic effect that will neutralize those waves coming off of your computer.
Wow.
So that is something, I have that on at my computer in my office, and it's great because it's also very soothing. It's a low type of light, and so talk about positive steps that you could do to keep your environment clean is a Himalaya salt lamp, also a filter, a cool mist humidifier to keep the air cleaner and fresher and moist, which is very good for your lungs. And so you want to look at your immediate environment. You want to see if there's pollution around, because if there is, that is very bad for you, as you could intellectually figure that out. And you will want to use some of those HEPA filters. I would suggest that as well.
Well, most of us live near some highways, and certainly, for all of us who live in the New York City area, we're close enough to JFK and LaGuardia airports, and I'm sure that all of that jet exhaust overhead is settling down on us somewhere, somehow. Not to mention all of the truck, car, bus exhaust that's out there. I know that you can't change that reality, but what could you do to lessen its impact?
Right. So you want to control your immediate environment. In the office, in your home, you want to use the HEPA filters, the cool mist humidifiers. Put those Himalaya salt lamps by your computer. When you are watching TV, like you said, there was wisdom back then to not be close to it. Computers, laptops, you want to keep a barrier between your lap and the laptop, even the iPad. Utilize, again, that lap board. Don't put the iPad right on your lap. As far as the outside environment and the airplanes and the smog and the cars, in the car, I do this in my car. I put it that the air circulates within my car, that it's not coming in from the outside. If I know I'm going to be in traffic or I'm going to be by JFK or LaGuardia, I'll put that on before I actually go into that zone. And then we could also just think about the fact of breathing in, how we breathe in our air. When we take a deep breath, now I'm going into another topic, if our immune system is intact, there's simple things that we could do to make sure that our immune system is boosted. So we could make sure that obviously if somebody's coughing, in the immediate air surrounding that person coughing, you want to, because not everybody's going to be courteous or take care to watch who's around them, you want to cover your mouth. You want to, in the winter, put a scarf around your head, and as you walk out, put it on your face and cover your mouth and cover your nose so that when people are coughing, they're not directing it at you. Keep a tissue in your pocket. Now it's cold season, so many people are coughing. Take that tissue out and protect yourself. That's a simple thing that we could do because we want to keep our immune system intact to fight these things. So when they come into your body, that they'll go out of your body.
I remember hearing from a friend of mine who's an EMS guy that the number one place that people transfer pathogens are like pens at banks, pens at grocery stores, when you have to, sign for the credit card or whatever,
Yes.
whether it's a ballpoint pen or like one of those computer-generated pens at checkouts, and doorknobs.
Yes. Yes.
So what should you do? Like always carry sort of like tissues or paper towels so you don't really touch any of this stuff?
Well, what I do is that if I'm in a public area and after I wash my hands and I take a towel, I will take the towel and close the faucet with that towel. I will even open the door with that towel, walk out, and then throw it away someplace else because that is the number one place for germs. And the second thing that I would recommend is that when you do go to the bank or you do go and you touch these pens and you touch other things, I mean, I'm not talking to be a germophobic, I'm not saying that, but when you do that, be mindful. Be mindful to not then walk out and take put your hand towards your mouth or in your mouth or near your mouth for any reason, a sucking candy you take out, and don't do that. Be mindful. Be mindful if you're in a public area. You want to maybe keep some baby wipes in your car in the winter. You could do it in the summer too, but I'm saying it specifically for the winter because now so many people are sick, so that you can wipe your hands. These are simple things that we can do.
Oh.
Again, some people might think of this as germophobic, but it really is protecting your health and well-being.
Well, one thing I actually do is I carry my own pen with me.
There you go.
So to the extent I have to sign credit cards and things like that and people hand me a pen, I just whip out the pen that I'm carrying and I use that because at least I'm the only one who's basically touching it.
Yeah.
So that kind of helps. Are there any sort of vitamin supplements or herbs or teas or any tinctures or oils that you could take to sort of counterbalance cell phone radiation and smog and computer emissions and all that other stuff that is out there and not doing good things for us?
Yes. So this weekend I just came back from a conference in New York City. It was the Integrative Healthcare Symposium. It was excellent. And the number one, what they suggested of a tea is green tea. Green tea is noted to excrete toxins from your body and helps to then boost your immune system. The other that I would just suggest from research through the years is to up your vitamin C 1,000 milligrams if someone in your family is sick, because vitamin C is a water-soluble vitamin. With vitamins, you have fat-soluble that could stay in your body, and that's like vitamin A and E and K. And then you have water-soluble vitamins like vitamin C that you can't get too much of, like you will excrete it out.
Oh, that means based upon my weight, I have plenty of A, E, and K. So it's the other ones I got to like stock up on.
So I would recommend vitamin C as well. So green tea, and then if you don't like tea, let's say, green tea, you might think it's not sweet enough. There is natural sweeteners. I would not recommend Splendid or any of those type. I would say use agave, AGAVE.
Which is like the cactus syrup, right?
Yeah, it's natural. Also stevia. I would use agave before stevia, but stevia is supposedly natural and herbal. And then also you could use honey. There's a lot of great properties about honey that research has come out and made known. I also want to go back just because I want to talk about the microwave for 1 second.
I wanted to talk.
I do not use the microwave anymore. I cook my food. It keeps the nutrients in, it keeps the vitamins in, and then I'm not radiating my food. I do not think, and I know research is out there about microwaves, that it's worth it. And now that I really do not use the microwave, I haven't used the microwave for about 2 years, my food is better.
Okay. What is it about microwaving food? Is there? I've heard all kinds of things like never microwave food with like plastic wrap because it breaks the plastic wrap down. I know that you're not supposed to eat, like a lot of times when you have takeout food in those thicker plastic containers, when they pour the very hot liquids or they microwave, that the plastic leaches into the liquid, and that's bad for you to ingest. Is it safe to use it in lower levels, 15 seconds, 30 seconds, just warm things up? Or it's just one of those things where it's just not a good idea to use it at all?
I would say it's not a good idea to use it at all.
Okay. And what, is that because is the structure of the food being changed?
Well, the structure of the food is being changed. If you radiate, you are changing, just like how with the cell phone, you are changing the waves in your body from the waves that artificially are coming into it. It's the same principle with the microwave.
All right, so this leads me to the next big question, which is everywhere, and we only have like 2 more minutes in this segment, but good thing we have another segment to go. Everywhere you go, there's Wi-Fi and all this other stuff now that never existed before. What do you do for that? Because it's everywhere. In fact, public buildings have Wi-Fi, libraries have Wi-Fi, businesses say, we offer free Wi-Fi. Here's our Wi-Fi code.
Right.
So that's radio waves bouncing, and I guess there's all the radio waves from AM and FM and all the other stuff out there too. What do people do about that?
I would say to boost your immunity, because we live in the 21st century. This is going to exist. We all want to have these luxuries. We're used to it. Boost your immunity. Just make sure that you incorporate these holistic principles of preventative care, and meaning, keep the cell phone out of your pocket. Make sure that you're not standing by somebody if they're coughing. Go ahead and take those, 1,000 milligrams of vitamin C if somebody's, sick in your household. And eat right. Exercise. What you know. Eat right. Exercise. Make sure that you rest, that you sleep. This is what you do. You boost your immunity. That's what you do.
When we come back, let's talk about sleep and insomnia. And we've had past shows with sleep doctors, but let's talk, because we talked more about more like apnea and those types of conditions. So when we come back, let's restart that segment with sleep, and maybe I will ask a question about Manuka honey versus regular honey. So for those out there, this is Richard Solomon. The show is Taking Care of Business. We're just ending our second segment. We'll be right back. Hang in with us. Welcome back. Richard Solomon, Taking Care of Business. 516-299-2683 is our telephone number. My very special guest is board-certified holistic nurse Linda Appelbaum Schneider, who is an author and a public speaker and a medical practitioner. Her book is East Meets West, A Contrast in Medicine. Her website is eastmeetswestbook.com, and her email, if you want to catch her direct, is Linda, LINDA892 @yahoo.com. All right, so continuing from our prior segment, a couple of questions. Is there any difference between, say, Manuka honey, which is supposedly a better honey, as opposed to just regular honey?
Yeah, so I have heard some research of that as well. But I would say if all you have is regular honey, that is great for sore throats, any type of inflammation that you might experience with your upper respiratory tract. To use honey in tea, regular honey would suffice and be just fine for that.
Now, as far as green tea goes, does it matter whether it's sort of a hot brewed, so let's assume it's a good quality brand, organic, whatever. Does it matter whether it is hot when you take it in, or does it matter if it's like the organic, good brand drops you find in a health food store that you can add to your water? Does it make any difference as long as it's delivered as opposed to the mode of delivery?
Right. So that's a really good question. There are a lot of brands on the market. And there is difference in purities, just like there is with essential oils as well. There are different purities. However, it doesn't mean that one is necessarily so superior to another. So if you do buy green tea and you drink it hot or you drink it cold, it's still going to have the ability to flush out those toxins, and that's what you want. So having the green tea, it's not so much, there might be research. One might say hot, one might say cold, different purities. But the bottom line is, if it flushes out your system and it decreases inflammation, you just want the green tea, however you're comfortable taking it, whatever brand you want. With essential oils, per se, depending on what you're looking to accomplish, yes, then purity would matter more.
All right, so let's now talk about sleep. We are a sleep-deprived nation.
Yes.
Because of stress, because of demands. We have people who are taking care of children. We have people taking care of children and parents. We have people taking care of other people. And I guess the last person that we generally take care of is ourselves, and we have lots to do and long, very busy days. What can we do to enhance sleep and getting the most out of sleep, since that's an overlooked component of health?
Yes. So there's quite a bit that we really can do. Short of saying for if somebody does have a medical issue, I'm not talking in that realm right now. I'm talking about the average person. Like you said, we have commitments, and during the day we have a busy day. So the first thing we want to do before we go to sleep is actually try to calm what I call the mind chatter. And different individuals, I'm sure, of your listeners have heard that expression before. And meditation and a breath and breathing and being mindful of the breath to calm down that mind chatter before you go to sleep is very important. I also utilize and would recommend using a lavender essential oil, not fragrance, because oil is natural, fragrance is man-made. So you want to use an essential oil. For what I'm going to describe, you don't have to worry too much about the purity. For that, you could, I love Amazon, because if you Google something in Amazon, it comes up with all these different suggestions and places and price points that you could get a product. So if you Google lavender essential oil, you could get it as a spray. For nighttime, for sleep, that's what I would recommend, to get it as a spray, or put it in a spray bottle if it just comes, the bottle that says essential oil. And then you could add it to like a distilled water and in a spray bottle and spray it on your pillow.
Okay, so is the idea that you need to breathe this in?
So what you're going
as opposed to rub it on you?
Right. You can put it, another way that you can achieve this is if you do have a bottle of essential oil, a small bottle.
I do. I have a little bottle of organic lavender essential oil that, upon your recommendation, I use for the kids.
Okay, perfect.
To help calm them down.
So what, did it work?
Yeah, it's a great little,
Great. So you can, for yourself, as an adult, you could put it on the palms of your hand and just breathe in gently and breathe out. And then if you have any type of thoughts, which you're going to have, we all have millions of thoughts, put it in visually in a white cloud and sort of let it just drift off. Visualize, use visualization, think of a vacation that you were on before you go to sleep. And again, you're going to have mind chatter from the day. So allow that in the cloud and just allow, this is allowing it to go by. And the lavender is naturally going to kick in your parasympathetic nervous system. So this is something, there's no effort because your body is so smart. And so your sympathetic nervous system, which is triggered during stress, you're going to calm it by just breathing this in and taking a breath. Your parasympathetic system is going to calm you and relax you. It's going to happen no matter what you do. Even if you try to fight it, it's not going to work. I'd also say to use what's called chakras, which is areas in your body where this unseen energy accumulates. There are 7 parts in your body. So if you start from the bottom up, from 1 to 7, your first chakra is called your root chakra, and that lies on the base of your spine. So if you move up between the base of your spine and your belly button, just going up a little bit from the base of your spine, that's your sacral chakra. Now, your sacral chakra is where you could also help and aid yourself if you concentrate on this area for to get a better night's sleep. And if you're not actually even sleeping, it's not going to matter because it's going to help calm you. So even if you don't fall asleep right away, that's okay. This is going to, again, kick in your parasympathetic by going to this area. It's called the sacral chakra, S-A-C-R-A-L. It's known for the color of orange, and the reason why chakras have different colors is because colors have vibrations. And this is, again, a 5,000-year-old philosophy that they have known that this vibration is going to help your body achieve what it needs to. So in this area of the sacral chakra, it would help achieve a better night's sleep. It's also, as a bonus, is the area for betterment of relationships. So this is an area that you want to breathe into. You just, again, you're going to have chatter, put it in that cloud, let it float out. But again, come back to your breath. Come back to that area and picture an orange sun. Picture, because these this area of the chakra, your first, second, and third, is really your physical being. It's your, what they call lower energies, your lower chakras. So you want to breathe into this area and picture the sun, because these colors are red, orange, and yellow. Right above the sacral chakra is your solar plexus chakra, and that's more your core, your ability to hold on to your own power. And I don't mean power like, I'm working out in the gym and this is, look at me. But it's more your power of your ability to hold within yourself and who you are.
All right, so let's move to related topics, which is sort of energy and weight loss.
Okay.
Because, we're all tired, and I know that a lot of us drink coffee to really make up for, which is the lack of sleep, which is the last thing we just talked about.
Right.
But we're carrying a lot of weight. We probably have too much sugar, which taxes us. What could we do? And I know it's unfair with only like 6 minutes left to talk about energy. I say the hardest thing for like the shortest amount of time. But what can we do to start thinking about energy and weight loss?
Okay. So you mentioned stress before, and it's proven that stress will keep weight on, add weight on. We also eat when we're stressed. So what we want to do is we need to decrease that stress level. It's the way we think. I mentioned it on the first segment about positive thinking. We need to reframe what we say and how we say to ourselves, the unkindness, the uncaring. We need to talk to ourselves with kindness, with caring. We need to talk to ourselves like we would talk to our child that we love so much, that our best friend, what we would say to our best friend, because that will decrease the stress. We know a good diet. There's a difference between eating greens and vegetables versus eating a cupcake and a Napoleon cake or having ice cream at 11 o'clock at night. Our intellect tells us that, one is better than the other. There is a recommendation now that half of our diet should be greens. That is proven. Whatever way and however way you could make that happen. Be responsible for your eating. I know that's very difficult to do. Most of us are not mindful, so we're stressed, so we just keep eating. We have something on our plate we think is delicious. But I would say this. It's proven that if you eat sugar, if you eat refined foods, that's your whites, that's your breads, that's your pastas, that's your rice, and people love that, and I know they do. But if you eat that, your body releases insulin, which is going to make you hungry. So if you could eat more greens, eat the proteins. Protein is very good for you. I mean, I do eat chicken. I try to stay away from the red meats, even though there is research that grass-fed red meat is better. So if you do eat beef and meat, then I would say recommend grass-fed. And then stick with your protein, stick with your vegetables, drink that green tea, have that water, decrease your stress. You're worth it. Be kind to yourself. Say kind words to yourself. This is going to make you healthier, and it's going to be like a habit eventually. So be kind to yourself as you keep practicing to do this. Don't worry if you ate that cupcake. Then know that each moment you can make it another moment. Be kind to yourself.
What is good to motivate you when you have those moments of weaknesses, especially when you go to parties or celebrations of one kind or another, or holiday dinners? What is a good strategy to help keep sort of the the engorgement in check.
Yes, yes. I would say if you feel you're going to gorge or eat something that you don't want to eat, then a good strategy is to eat before you go. It will keep you full. You won't go starving, and then you're not mindful. So eat something that's going to fill you up. Again, you don't want to eat the cupcake. You want to eat the salad or a protein, or even there are fruit protein bars. I wouldn't say there's ones with sugar, so watch your ingredients, look at your ingredients. You don't want to buy even something that sugar is number 1 or number 2. If it's number 4 or after, that's better. So, eat before you go. And then when you do go, try to enjoy more of what's not a food. Try to engage in conversation and care more about the reasons why you're there for the occasion, and take a look, be mindful, be in the moment of who you're there for and the occasion that you're celebrating.
All right, so we have 2 minutes. So in 1 minute, could you tell us just a little bit about the book East Meets West? And then I understand you have another book in the works that's completely in a different direction.
Yeah, so I'm so excited. The first time that we did Speak Rich and I was on your show, my book was not published. And I did have I was fortunate enough to have had 2 publishing companies work with me, and it became East Meets West, Contrast in Medicine, and it gives the layperson a insight into my journey, how I came across Eastern medicine, how I've incorporated it in a personal journey, and I give a glossary about what modalities, what tools are out there. So if you read that glossary and you realize that, I love the idea of essential oils and aromatherapy and reflexology, it tells you and it resonates with you and it tells you something that speaks to your heart, then you could dive into that more. And as you do that, you're opening up a whole new journey for yourself with health and well-being.
And in 45 seconds, tell me about this other little cool venture that's on the horizon.
I am so excited. This is my first fiction book, and it is an exploration into just a fantasy action world, and it has to do with mermaids.
All right, so this is what we're going to do for all of those people listening on FM. We're going to close out the show, and you can always catch us on YouTube. And what we will do is we'll have a special little bonus section in our YouTube channel about Linda's upcoming work. So for those who listened to this last hour of radio, thank you as always for being part of my radio family. If you always need to give us a call or contact, we love all your suggestions and comments. Stay safe, eat well, sleep as much as you can, and we'll see you in a week. Thanks for listening.
Whoa.